Alright everyone, welcome back to our third part of our final section of Course Design 101, where we are building an sort of uphill par 4. And now we're going to start our aesthetics. We've got everything laid down, our hole is pretty much done, but it is pretty plain. So now is the time to start jazzing this up a bit, and this is my favorite part. Some people hate planting and feel they don't have the creativity for it, but just kind of watch what I'm doing. I honestly don't find what I'm doing to be groundbreaking or anything like that, but just trying to keep my planting patterns kind of random seems to help. So let's start. I like to start from the front. So the tee shot, I figure, is your kind of your most important shot. This grabs. This really grabs the attention. And right off the bat, like I think we've got these bunkers sitting pretty well. It's a pretty menacing looking opening hole. Lots of bunkering there. But you know, this is pretty naked here. And you know, maybe I want to do some planting in here, maybe leak it into the water a bit. Maybe I'll make this water a little bit like this. Just kind of leak it into there. Yeah, just making this lake a tad bigger. Alright. So first thing I think I'm going to do, actually, I said it was starting with the tee shot, but I do want to, I want this course to be a little bit more tree-lined. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add some more trees. So place objects, nature, we're going to trees, and just trying to keep this as random as we possibly can. So, and add a few elms, kind of changing the size, changing the rotation as I go along. Bigger one over here. Lots of different, I'm using the autumn theme here, so there's lots of different options. For trees, anyway. So I'm just changing my sizes. Just making this a little bit more closed in. Let's go with an oak tree here. As you can see, this hole is... But I am trying to avoid the shadows on the green, which someone had mentioned it in my previous video, saying, well, what's the big deal with shadows? Shadows can provide a challenge, and that is absolutely right. However, just the way the game looks when the trees are moving, it makes it really hard to pick up any kind of break. And it makes people dizzy too, from what I've heard. I don't get too many issues with dizziness, but yeah, it is something to think about. So I try to keep my shadows to a minimum, which can be difficult when we are going to try to play with the lighting a bit, so it can be a bit tricky. So we've almost got our trees down here. Again, lots of different options. Oh, I don't want to plant in the lake. Well, that's pretty tree lined. As you can see, that closes the hole in quite substantially. Another thing I will quickly mention, and it's a giant pain in the butt. I'm probably, just for time's sake, not going to do it in this video just because it's so overly time consuming, but we do need to talk about the heavy rough. And some people like to just keep the heavy rough natural, kind of looking like this, a little bit brownish in some areas. But some people like a cleaner look, because if you put the heavy rough down, I mean, maybe I'll do this quickly. You get a nice deeper green here, which is definitely, I think, it can be a nicer look. However, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, which is the bane of our existence right now, and it seems minor, but it's annoying. If you cross the laid heavy rough down with that regular rough, that rough will go from a nice smooth line to all squiggly. Do you see that? There, to squiggly. And that is we've had issues with that since TGC 1, and people have tried multiple workarounds, and other than just kind of the way I'm going to show you, I haven't really seen too many better ways of doing it. So it's really just kind of going around and using your small brush, clicking and dragging, and just trying to get as close as you can to the edge without making those jagged lines. So maybe I will try to do this quick. So this is where, yeah, it can be definitely a pain in the butt. But usually the look is a little bit cleaner when you do this. So I'm a little bit sloppy here, but again, just I'm crossing over a little bit. I'm getting a few squiggly lines here and there, but not terrible. I'm just using my circular brush. This wasn't really working very well either before the patch, and the fact that the click and drag is now working definitely makes this tedious process slightly better. It's still a pain in the butt though, especially on par 5s with lots of fairway. All right, so we're making our way around. Try to go every about 20 or 30 yards and then unclick. Sometimes I like to be adventurous and as far as I possibly can. We had a few squigglies, but it's really not going to make a huge deal. Okay. We didn't talk about cart paths. Cart paths are something maybe we'll talk about in Course Design 201. Yeah, cart paths are another kind of tedious process that I don't really want to go through in these opening videos, because they can be tricky. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. All right, so we've gone all the way around like that. So see how it's definitely a deeper green. Now that we've done that, we can kind of fill the rest in without danger of... I do like to kind of create almost like a tree barrier, so anything, because it is a pretty stark difference from up here, so I kind of don't plant any trees past that line. I think I'll go up. I'll do all this. And you have to worry about it on the tee boxes too. So we'll show all this out. Use this tree line already, because we're going to use these trees. Now, if some people want to make that a naturally rocky look, little tip here. I'm not sure if I have mentioned this already. I'm just going to go around and finish this part here. But if you actually want a naturally rocky look, fun little trick here. And again, I can't remember if I've showed you this or not. But just take a tree, something like this, and sink it down into the ground. All the way down. And when you plant it, you should get more of a rockier look. You see that? A little bit more of a brown rocky look. So I mean, sometimes I do this just to show that, hey, this is my boundary. This is my tree boundary. I lay my down like that, just so it's a little bit of a starker difference. But again, you can do whatever you want. All right, so we've got our... Oh, we haven't finished our heavy rough yet. I got distracted. Surfaces, heavy rough. Do the same thing around here. I don't really really care too much about the squigglies on the tee box, to be quite honest. I do have a hill here. I don't know if I like that. Let's flatten that out. Flatten this out. This is going to actually erase the work that we've done previously on this tee box, but this hill's got to go. Alright, so we're going to reflatten this tee box again. There we go. So always make sure your tee boxes are flat. The tee part. If they're not, it can look a little bit funny. Okay. So there we go. Now we'll do a little bit of planting. So, what I'm going to do, like I said about the tee shot, is I really want to make this first tee shot look pretty good, and it's getting there. I mean, I'm not going to have to do a ton of planting here. It'll just kind of be some outer edge planting, and I'll kind of show you guys a few techniques along the way. But I'm not going to do a lot of planting here. So in terms of I like using a lot of different bushes, and the autumn theme is really nice for that. So just kind of adding a few, making them bigger, twisting them around, and then just kind of going through and adding different bushes as we go. And another nice thing you can do is, remember, you can lower the trees, and then you can create some other interesting bushes that are actually trees, which is kind of fun. Something like this. Okay, and then I do like some grass as well. I do like the grass kind of popping up here, so it's kind of in the line, the golfer's eye line. But again, you don't need to do a ton here, just a little bit. So like the golfer can kind of just see that, hey, there's some planting down there. And I just like to kind of sometimes, maybe I'll throw in a rock or something, I don't know. These are fun plants. I don't know, I just like these plants. Not really sure if they fit for an autumn theme, but just some little extra color, which I like. So maybe a few little bushes up here as well. Not my best, but you guys get the idea, hopefully. So, you know, it doesn't take you long, and you can create kind of a varied looking look like that. And then, you know, some people, it's really nice if you're looking for a clean course, just leaving the water edge nice and clean. But if you want to do some planting, again, you can do, you know, same kind of stuff. Another nice thing now you can do is you can auto plant rocks. Just be very careful with this, because these can eat up a lot of resources. So maybe I'll just make like a little rocky shore here, which could be kind of neat. But just keep an eye on that little yellow plant meter, and just kind of watch how much it goes up just by planting like this. So you really got to say, like, are these rocks worth it, or are they not? So the nice thing about this is they kind of randomize on their own, so you can get a pretty good look with just by kind of, I'm just clicking A down and around and kind of going from there. I got kind of a nice little rocky shore there. Maybe to say, like, hey, I don't want to plant around the whole lake, so maybe I've got some bushes or something just to say, like, hey, the rocks kind of stop here. Maybe I'll plant a few bushes in here. Just saying, okay, the rocks are done. Now we've got some bushes. Just transition. Doing some very quick planting here. Yeah, you can do the same thing over here. But you guys get the idea. You can throw some blip bushes in here. I don't know if I want to do that though. Okay, and then just kind of adding a little bit of undergrowth here because I don't have any bushes or trees or anything, so, or plants or anything. So maybe just adding a few more in the bush department here. But again, just watch your resources and say, is it worth it for me to do this? Okay, so stuff like that. Yeah, you can look into doing some grass too. Bare trees are kind of cool. You know, there's a ton of options here, obviously. I'm going to keep this fairly basic because I think this hole is looking pretty good right now. I would do a little bit more planting in here, but I think just for tutorial's sake, we might stop it there. Maybe I want to add some, you know, like a big rock outcrop here, which can be fun to do, but just make sure it looks natural, because sometimes just jamming rocks into the landscape looks a little odd. So like have a purpose of why it's there. So I mean, I got maybe a little uphill here. Like maybe a rock will work in there. Let's give it a try. So let's try a rock. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it big, pretty large, and then I'm gonna just sink it down. Just kind of part of it showing there. Maybe I'll try another type of rock. Make it super big. They didn't fix this scaling for the rocks. It's really slow. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. I'm not sure why. I think it's a bug of some sort, but super slow motion. And that's like not even a rock I really want. The flatter rocks tend to work a bit better. Come on, rock. Any day now. So slow. But anyway, you guys get the idea. Kind of get a little rocky outcrop like that. I don't know if that necessarily fits for a hole like this, but that's kind of how you do it. I'm actually going to get rid of those because I don't like them. I'm going to do a little bit more planting at the back, I think. So I might spam some bushes a little bit. I'm using the multi-object. Just adding a few extra bushes. Just for a little extra at the back there. Something like that. Maybe a little bit there. Mix it up. Again, I'm not doing anything revolutionary here. But just be patient, play with it, and I mean, that's not too bad. I do a little, like I said, I do a little bit more planting there and there. So let's put the finishing touches on this. Let's look at our greens. So maybe this first pin, I'll maybe put there. Let's add another pin position, putting there, one there, and 4 can go there. And then just adding some breaks. Some people have a very specific way of making breaks. I usually do, but just kind of, I'm just going to add a few little slopes here and there. Just be careful and test, just to make sure that you don't have any of your pins sitting on yellow or red slopes, because there is nothing worse than that. So Yeah, I mean they're not. This is not an overly super difficult green. Oh, there's some stuff in there that can cause some problems. Now, one thing I did do is I kind of lost some of my edge here. Because remember at the beginning of the video, I kind of wanted, if this was short, to bounce back and into the bunker. I'm not quite sure if it's going to do that now. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to raise this whole thing up again. And then flatten it. I'm going to have to flatten this again, which will actually ruin the work I just did. But I do want this green to sit up a little more. What it is right now. There we go. That's better. All right. I mean, yeah. We can put in those breaks a little bit later. Well, we can just do it now. I'm just going to throw in some very random breaks. That's fine. And then again, you can add whatever finishing touches you want, benches, whatever. But I mean, that is a golf hole. That's not too bad. I mean, that's something I might consider even using, just with a few more touches. Last thing you might want to look at is obviously your environment. So maybe you look at this first, maybe you look at this last. You know, you change the backdrop. Maybe you want a larger mountain in the back, which I kind of like because I think this is going to be a hillier course. Weather. I'm not a big fan of clouds. So I'm trying to keep this rather clear because when the sun goes behind the clouds, it makes everything dark. If you kind of want, I kind of like sometimes a little bit of fog. Interesting look there. I'm just playing around. A little bit of haze, maybe. Maybe we can knock the lighting down a little bit. Make this a little bit more of a dramatic looking opening hole. Again, I've got to be just being careful with the shadows around the greens. But again, when you think, you gotta think about it. You know, holes going this way are going to look great, but if you're looking back this way, the lighting's a little bit. Well, it's not a little. It's not great. So, just things to think about. Some people like to go just more of a less dramatic lighting, and then it kind of looks really good all around. Or you can get this super dramatic lighting where you have a lot of holes looking spectacular, but then a lot of holes not looking so good lighting-wise. So, that is a golf hole. It's not too bad. Let's just give it a play. Make sure it's not total garbage. Not my best hole, but it's a start. So I'll go through and kind of note any looks or tweaks or anything I want to do, but overall, I kind of like it. There we go. I do like the second shot, kind of this uphill to this uphill raised green here. Oh, that pin's a mess. We got to fix that pin. So that's why we play test, right? That pin's like on a side hill. It is not a great pin. I mean, it's not. It's borderline. Yeah, that's a tough one. We'll just fix that again quickly. Flatten this out a bit. And then sometimes I like to pick up the pin and just see. Yeah, that's not too bad. All right, and that is very quick. Very, very quick. But there's a golf hole right there. So let's get a look at it. I wanted to get rid of my UI here for a nice picture here. It's not working. That's weird. Oh, I know why. There we go. There we go. You can only do that on PC, by the way. So people trying to do that on consoles doesn't quite work. So there is our golf hole we built in 3 videos. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. Let me know anything else you want to see in our next tutorial series. Ooh, that bunker doesn't look great. Anyway, whatever. But yeah, thanks guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful, and we'll catch you next time.